Are you wanting to use video to create more visibility and brand awareness for yourself, but you're an introvert and you're terrified? And you're like, how on earth do I get started with video? How can I succeed with video if I'm an introvert? I realize, you guys, the struggle is real if you're introverted in any way. So today we have a very special treat for you. We're going to be talking to an online visibility expert who specializes in video and who herself is an extreme introvert, and she's still made it work. And she's going to reveal to you how you can use the power of video to create more brand visibility for yourself, even if you're an introvert. So let's do this. Today, I'm here with Crissy Conner, and she's a social media strategist, a visibility expert, and founder of Visible, the inner circle of entrepreneurs ready to consistently increase their impact, relationships, and growth to become unforgettable to their audience. What began as a behind-the-scenes introverted brand agency to support clients with full-service social media quickly turned into supporting others to break up with their comfort zones and to get on video and become the face of their business. As the visibility queen, she runs maxed out video challenges, visibility boot camps, has a monthly membership, Omni to help you get the tools you need to grow your business, and mentors entrepreneurs to market their business the right way. Crissy leads by example, pushing herself to get uncomfortable, like 200 lives in July, diversifying her marketing, all while doing the same thing she asks of her audience. So you guys, we are so lucky to have Crissy here with us today as a visibility expert, because honestly, becoming visible on social media nowadays is getting harder and harder. And so we need a little bit of visibility and a little bit of Crissy in our lives. So welcome, Crissy. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, now before we jump into all things visibility and how to actually stand out in a sea of thousands of people all trying to do the same thing,
right?
I would love to hear just a little bit about your story as an entrepreneur and how you evolved to where you are today as this visibility expert.
Well, it's a great story, as we all have one, right? And where I started back in 2012, which is the first business that I owned, is not where I thought I would end up. So back in 2012, I created a skincare business, and my friend and I were in business together, and we literally bootstrapped everything. We had no coaches. We had no training. We literally did everything by flying by the seat of our pants, right? And so my friend decided that we were going to be in magazines, and we were going to be on Shark Tank, and we were going to submit for all these FedEx grants and all this stuff. And she pushed me constantly. And I don't know if you've ever been in that feeling where you just don't want to do it. So you just don't do it. Like, you literally put up these walls. And she would submit us to these events, local news stations and things like that. And I would literally pray every single night, please God, I don't want this business to be that big, because I'm petrified to be on video. Like, do not put me on video. Do not put me in front of the sharks. Do not put me in front of local news stations where my friends can see me and make fun of me, because I was an introvert, got hives, still do sometimes, that literally creeped up my neck and were embarrassing. I stuttered. I said, way too much, still do. And I really had this fear of somebody telling us how we created skincare would be wrong, or how we did things wasn't the right way, or somebody calling me a fraud. Like, all of these fears came out. And obviously that business did not last for many reasons. But one of the reasons is because I was the business partner who refused to do any of those things, right? I was like, please don't submit us to this. Please don't. Like, I never wanted to get out of my comfort zone. It was comfortable, warm, fuzzy, and safe. And so when that business ended, I had a lot of friends who said, hey, you did such a good job marketing, your own business. You should do it for me. And I was like, okay, I can be the behind the scenes girl again. I don't have to get on camera. Like, this is perfect. I make everybody else look good, tell them what to do, and I don't have to do it, right? So I created this whole digital marketing business by really referrals and really DIYing everything, and still had no clue what I was doing, but I was helping them be successful, and it worked. So I thought maybe I should get some training, and I should really start figuring out what I'm doing. So I learned from the best experts in the industry and realized really quickly, you can only take on so many one-on-one clients. And I was like, how am I going to make more money? And at the time I finally got a coach and she was like, you need to get on video. I was like, yeah, no.
You're like, yeah, been there, done that. And that's
right. Exactly. And everything kept pointing, you need to get on video. You need to get on video. So we did this was back in 2016. So I did about 10 Facebook Lives. Cheater. And I would go to my personal page, choose only me, go live, watch it 50 times, critique it like crazy, and decide whether or not I was going to post it. But it got real old real fast because there was regardless whether I hate a video or not, there was no instant gratification from that. And if you remember back in 2016, live video was hot. Like everybody commented on live videos on Facebook. And so I said, I'm going to do a real video, but I'm worried about what my friends are going to think. I'm worried about, again, somebody saying I'm not an expert. They have I have no idea what I'm talking about. So how can I put myself out there where I know what I'm talking about? It's something I'm semi-passionate about that everybody wants to know. All my friends at the time wanted to make Jell-O shots, and I made them and brought them to every girls' night out. So my first Facebook Live was teaching my audience how to make Jell-O shots. I propped my phone up on some books. I'm screaming into the camera. I have a really, I didn't realize it at the time, it was a tank top, but it was kind of low cut. It was probably not the most appropriate shirt to wear for the first time I did a live video. But guess what? I was confident in making Jell-O shots. I knew exactly what I was doing. I didn't need a recipe. I didn't need directions. I didn't need prompts. I knew exactly what to say, right? I had people watching, asking questions, and I knew how to answer them. And as raw and ugly and messy as it was, it gave me the confidence, okay, I was an expert Jell-O shot maker and my friends had no clue, right? But it was something they wanted to do. They weren't going to make fun of me, right? Because they wanted to know. Now I just need to take this and apply because it felt good to help my friends, help them, right? At the end of the day, that's what I was doing. I was helping them. And so when I started thinking, okay, you can get on video, but you got to stop worrying about your fears, your introvertedness, your hives and all this stuff. And if you think about what can you teach your audience? How can I teach them something? How can I provide value into their lives? How can I help them grow their business? So when I took it from inside of me to outside of me and thinking, who can I help and who can I serve and support in that law of reciprocity? It was a game changer for me. It was a complete game changer for me getting on video. I'm not saying to this day, video is not I don't jump out of bed and say, I can't wait to get on video today. But I put myself in the mindset of I'm here to support and serve. And I don't care if nobody comments on my video. I don't care if anybody likes my video, as long as one person watches it and it just changes their thinking. It just changes their mindset. It just helps them in some way, shape, or form. It is always worth it to get on video. And so that's my story of being introverted, not being on video and praying to God that I would not have to be on video, to getting up and knowing that every morning my purpose is to serve and support my audience.
I love your story so much. And so there's a couple of things that really gripped me. And for those of you watching, I really hope that you're paying attention because first of all, the exact thing that Crissy was terrified of, the exact thing she was avoiding was the exact thing that propelled her to success. And I've seen that again and again and again. All my different business besties, we all talk about, it's almost always the thing we avoided the most was the thing that gave us our biggest breakthrough, right? Always. Yes. And then the other thing is, it's how many of you watching have felt like that? Well, yeah, I know everyone hates video, but it's extra bad for me. I mean, I pit out, my hands get clammy. I can't swallow. I can't even talk. It changes my voice. I stutter. I blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, you guys, everyone feels like it's worse for them than everyone else. Mm-hmm. And Crissy felt that way.
Yes.
And she 100%. Ripped off the Band-Aid and did it. And not only was she fine, you didn't die.
I didn't die.
You did great. No one made fun of you. They were just happy that you showed them how to do the thing they were interested in, which happened to be Jell-O shots. Right. That's fun. But it gave you the confidence to keep going.
It totally did.
Which I love. I love. So how many of you are watching this, secretly thinking, I know video is what I'm supposed to be doing, but I still don't want to. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully by the end of this, you'll be ready to rip off the Band-Aid yourself and jump right into it. So did you ever think that being a visibility coach, that using live video as your go-to strategy would be something you would do?
No. And it's funny because I rarely say never anymore, because I said, I will never get on video. I will never speak on stages. I will never be a teacher. Like, none of that stuff ever interested me. And I was always like, it's easier to do it and then show you how to do it. Like, I'll just do it myself. Like, that was always my mentality. And so it's funny how all those things I said I would never do really resulted because of the fact that at the end of the day, I said I just didn't want to do them, but it was a confidence thing. It was a self-esteem thing. And, I said this the other day in a live video, like, everything, if you don't work out things in your personal life, you will have to work them out when you become a business owner, because you will have so many blocks that come up that you've never dealt with before in your personal life. And you're just going to have to figure out how to deal with them, because to grow a business, that's when you realize all of your flaws, all of your mindset issues, all of your blocks, you will find them being a business owner.
I couldn't agree more. Being a business owner, being an entrepreneur forces you to confront your triggers and deal with them and move past them.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. And the people who have the most success, it's not that they're lucky, right? It's not, sometimes it's that they're hard workers, but most of the time, actually, it's that they've simply learned how to confront all those triggers.
Yes.
Honestly. And so now video plays a starring role in what you do. In the beginning, when you first realized, like, oh, I didn't die, I'm okay, maybe I should keep doing this. Like, at what point did you shift from going on video, to try to get more marketing clients, to going on video to show people what it means to go on video and to coach people in that particular visibility space? Like, when did that shift happen for you?
It happened really fast, because I have always also had a fear, and I'm sure many of you watching can agree with this, of being salesy. Like, I never wanted to be that pressure person in the mall that makes you spend way too much money, that you're like, you go home and you regret it. Like, why did I do that? Like, how did they talk me into this? Right? Like, I never wanted to be that person. I've almost always came from a place of value. I'm going to say, like, honestly, at the beginning, it was a very surface level thing where I'm just going to teach you social media, right? Like, I'm not going to talk about myself. I'm not going to tell you about my life. Like, I'm not going to talk. We're just going to be surface level here, right? And so the thing that I found is that value is even more valuable when we can add our personality, our struggles, and what we've actually done in our own lives, or even sharing client testimonials or things like that as we go about it. So that was probably the biggest trigger that I had. I've always came from a way of serving. In my first business, don't get me wrong, I didn't do video, but literally it was sell post after sell post after. It was a product-based business. So that's what I thought you did, right? I had no idea. But in this business, I did know that value was the way to serve. It was just bringing more of me into that value and not being so superficial where you don't build that relationship, because building relationships on video is one of the most magnificent things that I've ever seen that can happen. And you can really do that when you bring your personality and yourself into the content a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, how many of you watching already kind of feel like Crissy and I a little bit, simply because, we're here and we're talking, and, there's no way we can convey all the information we're going to talk about today in a series of posts or an email. Like, written, it just doesn't, it's not the same.
Right.
Just not the same.
Yeah.
So, I love that you were and are an introvert, right? This is not your favorite thing, but you realized how important it is for business, and you've been able to push past. So for those introverts watching who are feeling like, yeah, I know it's bad for everyone, but it's especially bad for me. Like, really, it's extra bad for me. What can I do? Like, what advice would you have for them to help them step into maybe getting on camera for the first time and just trying it out and trying it out to see, like, hey, I didn't die. I'm okay.
Right. Absolutely. And first of all, I'm still, I will never not be an introvert. So if you put me in a room of people I don't know, I will gravitate to one person, right? And I will start talking to them. I will not be the life of the party. But if I'm on stage or I'm on video, I have learned that this is my chance to serve, right? And I think one of the things, like I was talking about earlier, it's really stop focusing on your introvertedness. And realize that you have a way to serve and support your audience. I think everybody creates a business to help people, right? In some way, shape, or form. Whether it's we save them time, we save them money, we make their life better in some way. Like those are the things that are so important as a business owner. And if we can just, it's almost like I got to talk myself into this, right? Like every day, if I do one video and I help one person and I stop worrying about the instant gratification of likes and comments, is it worth it for me to get on video? If you can ask yourself that question, and I have asked many people who have never gotten on video that question, they're like, yes, if I knew I could help somebody, I would do it. It would be 100% worth it to do it, right? So maybe it's simply asking yourself that question. I'm not going to say that it's not going to be scary, but also if you've ever read the 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins, fear, excited, nervous, and excited, our brain really doesn't know the difference. So if you just tell yourself you're not scared and you tell yourself you're excited, your brain's going to start believing that, and you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 it, you push the go live button. I'm not going to lie, like go live. If I had stories back in the day, I probably would have done stories first because at least they disappear in 24 hours.
Yeah.
But go live, guess what? You can't pick it apart. You can't let your perfectionist self say, oh, I didn't like that, right? Like you just do it and you just show up authentically. And I think the thing is that as an introvert, not only am I shy and like probably a little socially awkward when it comes to like, I'm not going to lie, when I'm in a crowd of people, if I'm not the on person, I hate being the center of attention. Don't sing happy birthday to me. It makes me so uncomfortable. But again, I can go stand on a stage and feel fine to tell you how to grow your business. It's so weird. I know it's so weird. But like, if we can just really, again, just take it off of ourselves and put it outwards to our audience and just knowing that we can serve and support, like, again, it's one person at a time. How do you build a business? One sale at a time. How do you build a business? Helping one person at a time. If we can just think about that one person and is it worth it? Like if you could change their life in some way, shape, or form by something that you do, would it be worth it to push, go live, or record to get on video? And almost everybody that I've ever asked that question to has said yes. Now there are some buts, but I'm worried. And we're all always going to have fears. And we're always going to be growing. I looked at a video that I did 3 years ago. It was awful. I was like, I'm so monotone. Like there's no excitement in my voice. I sound like I have no clue what I'm talking about. And I shared it with my inner circle and they were all like, oh my gosh, that's you 3 years ago. I'm like, yes. Yeah. Do you see the growth I've had in 3 years? Like the more we do something, the better we're going to get. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just pushing forward, thinking about that one person that you can serve and support and help and know that you have something to offer your audience. And you wouldn't have created a business if you didn't think you had something that could help people.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't agree with that more. I mean, we're all here because we have some unique gift to share with the world. We wouldn't be so driven if we didn't truly think like, God, that like something changed your life and it can change other people's lives, right? So what I love about this advice, whatever you focus on, you amplify. So if you focus on your introvertedness, if you focus on your fear, if you focus on all those things, you're going to amplify them. But if you focus on the people in front of you and serving them, I love that. Like, it's not about selling, it's about serving.
Yes.
Right? It's about sharing. Someone out there is praying for the topic you're going to talk about today.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're just waiting for you to show up. Right. So, and time again, what I found, because, of course I have to get on video too. Here we are together on video, right? People think about you way less than you think they do. I mean, they're so busy trying to figure out their own lives. They don't have time to pick yours apart.
So true. So
true. Yeah, absolutely. So I love that, actually, that little tidbit in your story where you shared when you first got started, you'd go live, but you would restrict it so that only you could see it. Mm-hmm. I mean, what a nice little like hack. If you're just trying to get used to being in front of the camera, like where to look, what to say, like what a cool little trick. Do you have any other little hacks like that could help someone just ease themselves into the process? Yes. Maybe some people don't even realize they can restrict the visibility to.
Oh, I know. And then you can edit it and change it. You can change it to friends or public. So once you decide, and it still says Crissy Conner was live, right? They don't know I was only live to myself.
Right.
Yes. It's a great tool to do it. And it was so funny because I always say I used to cheat at Facebook Lives, but eventually I got tired of that. But you can absolutely start out by cheating. And I do wish stories would have been around in 2016 because I totally would have done stories. But that's another great way to practice because, again, it disappears in 24 hours. And
they're super short, super easy. So practicing with stories or just going live, but you're set it so you're the only one who can see it. And if you get brave, adjust it to your friends. And if you get braver, adjust it to public, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The other thing I told you before we started this interview, I'm a rambler. It's so bad. So I will take a Post-it note and I will write the 3 or 5 points that I want to make on my video, because I'm telling you, sometimes I will be on a live, I've even done this in a speech before, and this whole nother story comes into my head and I want to tell it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So it's always a gamble. I don't know where this is going, but I'm going to talk about it anyhow. But Post-it notes have really helped me. And neat trick, get the full sticky Post-it notes because they won't fall off. And you can put them I could put this right on my screen right here, and I would be looking up at my camera. And so nobody would know, but the full stick are the best ones. And then what you can do is take those points and repurpose it as a regular post, right? So then stick it on your wall for your next piece of content. So it's a no-brainer.
Totally a no-brainer. So I love these tips. If you're just wanting to rip the Band-Aid off and get going, grab a couple of these quick tips to get a little bit more comfortable in front of the camera, right? And as with anything else, with repetition comes mastery, expands your comfort zone, all those things. So what's possible? I know you've worked with lots of clients, helping them to become more visible, and clearly video plays a big role in that. Have you ever kind of teased into the details of someone who's posting regularly, but they're never doing videos, they're just posting? And then they switch to video and they start going live regularly. What kind of a shift can people see in their business when they start getting more visible with video specifically?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I have seen, not only with clients, but personally too, is that, we can create amazing content, and we can create amazing content that is really going to resonate with our audience. But it's kind of like email. It can take a long time to convert that person who resonates with a piece of content to convert, because really building that know, and trust is one of the hardest things to do on social media. But if you are on video, there is this thing called parasocial relationships. And if you think about growing up, when we were all younger, we had a band, a movie star, or somebody that we followed that we felt like we knew everything about them, right? Whether they were on TV a lot or internet, but we felt like we knew them, right? This is the same thing that happens when you get on video. When you get on video and you are consistent enough, not only do you build more known, trust, and it makes sales easier, but people feel like they know you. Yeah. And let me tell you why. And this is even if you get no comments and you get no likes. Here's why. I walk in the grocery store one day and somebody comes up to me and says, "How are you doing?" Or says, "Crissy, how are you doing?" I'm like, "Fine."
Good.
How's Ava?
Who are you?
She says, "How's Ava?" Which is my daughter. And I'm like, "Good." And she's like, "I saw you guys were sick a couple weeks back." And I'm sitting here thinking, I don't know who this is. And I know everybody who comments on my posts, right? So she is a complete lurker, right? And I'm fine with that. I was all freaked out the first time it happened, but it was fine. Birthday party 2 years later, somebody walks up to me and says, "Crissy, oh my gosh, I love your and Nellie's content." It was my business bestie. She's like, "You helped me with marketing my business so much." And I'm like, again, I don't know this person. She goes, "I'm Beth's neighbor," who is a friend of mine. And I was like, "Oh," and then I was like, "What's her name?" And she was like, "It's Heather." And I was like, I don't know her. I think maybe we're friends on Facebook, or she sees my content, but she does not comment on my stuff. So number one, you're going to build relationships and people are going to feel like they know you and you have no clue who they are. And it kind of sounds like a freaky thing, but at the end of the day, they're really just taking in your content. They're falling in love with you because you are willing to show up. I said a long time ago, people ask me how do people connect with you so well? And I said, and I, first of all, don't think I'm a nobody, but I said, I'm a nobody who decided to show up on video and share her flaws with her audience and teach them how to, grow their business. That's really what I did, right? I'm no different than anybody else. It's just I got over my fears and then I shared them to my audience, right? And so being able to do that and really get vulnerable with your audience. And I don't expect anybody to get on video the first time and share their story, because that's a lot, right? Let's get on video, let's get used to it. And then let's start adding in the vulnerability, because that's still uncomfortable for me. And then people just start to relate to you, right? I mean, they just start to know you. And it's the weirdest thing ever. And, I have this Post-it note up here on my wall. I took a call with somebody and she was from Africa. And she said, first of all, can I just say, I am on the phone with Crissy Conner. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, I can't believe you would take a call with me. I was like, why wouldn't I take a call with you? Yeah. And it just floored me how people perceive people. Because at the end of the day, most people are not going to get on video.
Yeah.
Most people are not going to get on video. Or at least not consistent enough to grow those parasocial relationships, right? But if you're willing to do it, you're probably going to outdo your competition. But at the end of the day, you really just want to outdo what you did yesterday, right? And that's what we really need to focus at. But it just still floors me to this day that people just build that relationship with me, because again, I don't know them unless they comment, right? If they comment, I'm all about building that relationship because I think that's important. But we have to show up for the lurkers too and know that they're building a relationship with us. We just don't know it yet.
We just don't know it and we don't see it. And you guys, lurkers or like the silent stalkers, people watch you. They're watching. And not in a bad way.
No.
In a good way. Like they're secretly they feel like they completely know you. They're invested in you as a person, in your business, in your stories. I've had people approach me too, or like I meet someone for the first time. My husband introduces me and they're like, oh, I know all about you. I've seen you all over social media. I feel like I know you. And I'm like, great. I don't know you at all. Let's get to know each other, but it's so true. And there was a time even I did this funny social experiment. I used to go live a lot. Well, I still kind of do, but I purposely just to test the algorithm and test out some stuff. I didn't do anything on my Facebook profile for a whole month. Nothing. Like absolutely nothing. And then all of a sudden I started posting again just to see how the algorithm reacted. It was interesting. But even during that month hiatus where I was posting nothing, people would come up to me and be like, oh, I see your stuff all the time. I just love everything you do. And I'm like, I haven't done anything.
Right. Exactly.
But to them, it feels like I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I had COVID about 6 weeks ago and I obviously was sleeping a lot. So and people would message me, are you okay? I haven't seen you on social media. And I love this quote. And I say this all the time. It's not our customer's job to remember who we are. It's our job to show up so much they never have the opportunity to forget us. And it's so important to get visible. But at some point, you show up so much, they wonder where you are if you don't show up because you've built
they're waiting for you.
Yes.
They're looking forward to your next live. And they're
and it was so crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, now I'm not showing up. And they're like, where are you? What are you doing? What's wrong? Is something wrong? Are you okay? And it was just such a revelation that's like, okay, it's important that I do this. It's important that I show up. Number one, they're expecting me, but they've built that trust with me. It's like it's like having a physical store, right? If you never show up to open the doors or maybe do it whenever you feel like it, people are like, I don't even know when to go, right? Like she's open whenever she wants to be. She doesn't have regular hours. But if I show up consistently on Facebook or whatever platform it is, and I treat this like my flagship store, people are going to know if she shows up this much for free, right? For free on social media and gives this much value for free on social media. What is she going to do for me if I pay her? What is she going to do for me if I buy a program from her? And I think that's where we get that law of reciprocity really comes in.
Boom. That's the mic drop right there.
Yes.
If they're giving me this much value for free, how much amazingness am I going to get if I pay them?
100%. Yeah.
I mean, don't you want people thinking that about you, to the viewer who's watching right now? Yeah, you. Don't you want people thinking that about you? Like, man, I need to buy their stuff because if the free stuff is this good, the paid stuff's going to be amazing. I mean, whatever it is that you're offering, right?
Yeah.
And people can tell when you're taking your focus off of yourself, me, what do they think of me? Are they going to like me? Are they going to judge me, right? And you put the focus on them. How can I serve them? How can I help them? How can I make a difference for someone today? People feel that, you guys. Like they know. And I think it's repetition over time. Like you'll kind of naturally slip into that. I feel like it might not be natural in the beginning, but it can become natural. So speaking of consistency, you mentioned like consistently showing up and then people kind of start to look forward to it.
Right.
You look forward to your content. What frequency should people be showing up on video? And is there a magic number, or is it more about what works for the person? Any advice in that space?
Absolutely. So a couple things. I have a couple feelings on this. I think number one, it depends on the platform you're on. Like I did 205 lives in July. I can tell you going live on Instagram was not worth it to me, right? But showing up and posting a reel every day it just kills it, right? Every time if I post, but I know my Facebook business page, I know I need to go live, right? And I know the more I go live, the more consistent I am, the more the algorithm rewards me. I did a test the first 4 weeks of going live every single day, sometimes multiple times a day on my Facebook page. You can go into your content or creator studio and you can see the recommendations. So Facebook actually recommends your videos to people who do not follow your page. Mm-hmm. The first week was 4%. They recommended me to people who didn't follow me. Week 2 was 9%. So 9% of the viewers were people who did not follow me. So basically kind of think of like YouTube, how videos show up afterwards. It's kind of that same concept. Week 3 was 14.7%. And week 4, after they realized I wasn't giving up, 57.7% of my video views were recommended to people who did not follow me, over half. So I believe different platforms reward you differently. Facebook rewarded me after I was consistent every single day. But I'm not saying if you've never done video to go jump on video and do it every day. I start with 1 a week, mm-hmm. and then add 2 a week, and then add 3 a week, like build it up. And I also wouldn't tell you to like join Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. If you try to do all of that, you're never going to be consistent. Start one place, be consistent, mm-hmm. learn how to repurpose your content and work harder. Yeah. And then you're going to blow up and you're going to be able to be cross-pollinating your content. You're going to be able to diversify your content across all these platforms, but just start. It just starts with 1 video a week. And then let's build on that because we all started somewhere. And I think that's where anybody who hasn't been consistent on video, that's where you need to start.
Well, I love this. I mean, so for those of you watching, imagine if you've ever felt like, oh, I don't have enough people to talk to, I don't have enough traffic, I don't have a big enough following, like, where do I find people? Like, I think that's the number one thing I hear is like, where do I find more people?
Right.
Well, if you guys were paying attention to those stats that Crissy just shared, imagine every video you do, like, yeah, there's the people who are going to see it because they follow your business page or they're your friends, or they're your followers or whoever. And then 50% of the audience comes from the platform you're on being like, to strangers, hey, watch this video. Hey, watch this video. Hey, watch this video. I mean, imagine how many more people are going to find you. And it's simply being consistent, whatever consistency that is, right? I mean, maybe it's a boost from 0 to 50% like Crissy, or maybe it's a boost of 0 to 25% because you're only going a couple times a week, but that's still 25% of people that Facebook is finding for you. Then imagine, every platform has different video content. And that's what I love about the power of video, right? Like you said on Instagram, they have reels, mm-hmm. right? Of course, TikTok is kind of similar. They have little mini videos, right? But even Pinterest now has videos. Mm-hmm. Almost any platform you can share video in some way or multiple ways.
Yes.
And if you're smartly creating and repurposing, right? How much could you boost algorithms to find more people? It's crazy how it can add up and snowball. Yeah, absolutely. So people just pick whatever they can consistently do. If it's once a week, great.
Yes.
If it's every day, great.
Right. And I think it's just starting, I always say, I'll meet you where you're at. Like, I'm not going to force somebody on live video if that's not their thing. Maybe we need to start in stories, right? So meet yourself where you're at and don't try to do something that you're not going to do, right? But if you can commit to 1 a week, do 1 a week. If you can commit to 2 a week, do 2 a week, but find something that is your comfort level where you can start. And then you heard I say comfort level, and then push yourself every 30 days outside that comfort level to go to the next level for the next month. Because I do believe, and I'm sure Adrienne believes this too, your business only ever grows to the level that you do. So if you're not growing personally, your business isn't going to grow either. So we get to push ourselves personally so that we can grow the business and get the business of our dreams.
Well, and that's such great advice. Start with what you're comfortable with. Like, you got to start somewhere.
Right.
And then every so often, push yourself. Like, right. It doesn't have to be huge. Maybe you just start with a couple stories. Maybe you're watching and you're like, oh, I've already been using stories. And for some reason that doesn't scare me, but the idea of getting on camera does. Okay. Well, now you know where to push yourself.
Right.
Right. So there's clues. So can you paint a picture for us? I love that statistic of it went from 0% recommended to 50. Like, that's super encouraging. Do you have any client stories of clients who started getting more consistent and, more leads coming in or more sales coming in? Any inspirational stories you could share with us on what's possible?
Yes. So I have a client who went from being a $25 an hour coach who has really taken the whole power of visibility and really blown her business up to a 7-figure business, which has been amazing. I have another client who was, she actually joined my inner circle, and she was already a multi-6-figure business. And she got on video. She'd never been on video. Multi-6-figure business, had a podcast and had a really, strong community through that podcast. And she's like, I don't think I need to get on video. I was like, just try it. And so she did my boot camp, and she was like, somebody said because of my Facebook Live that they purchased my program in full. She goes, it works. And I was like, see, I told you, like, you got multi-6 figures without video. Imagine where you're going to get now. She is headed to 7 figures right now, and she probably will hit it in the next couple of months. So there is so much power in video, and I believe in it so much. And again, it's just not giving up. It's just not being so focused on the instant gratifications. It's just keep doing it, have the patience, and knowing that it's going to come through. It's going to happen for you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. So you guys, from earning $25 an hour to being $1 million earner from video. I mean, honestly, it is possible. And, if you don't believe us, like, this entire event, all the speakers, all the experts coming to share, there's a reason we're getting on video. It's so much easier to convey information, number one.
Yeah.
But number two, you can create so much rich content and reuse and repurpose stuff from video. And we can get it. That's another topic for another day, but I absolutely love that advice. And I love the inspiration of, if these people can scale that big with video, I mean, what could you do? So for the viewer who's maybe thinking like, okay, I ripped off that Band-Aid a while ago, I go live consistently, but I'm not getting that return. Like, am I saying something wrong? Am I doing something wrong? What are some of the don'ts? Some of the big, like, don't do this things that you could clue the audience in, so that if they are in that place of frustration where they're trying to use video, but it's just not working, they can kind of clean up their approach a little bit.
So number one is, this is a live thing, and it drives me crazy. And it's, you go live. Hey, let's wait for everybody to show up. I'm going to wait for people to come on.
Yes.
And you're just sitting there, and it's like, the 5 people watching you, are they not worth it to start the live video? Like,
right. You're going to lose the people you do have, and you're certainly not going to gain any more.
Right, exactly. And so that is one of the things, if you're doing a webinar, if you're doing a Zoom, totally different. But if you are doing a Facebook Live or a live on TikTok or wherever, don't do it. Don't do it. Mm-hmm. Something that I did, and I don't think this is horrible or bad, but something that I used to do is like, good morning, happy Tuesday. How's everybody doing? And I just realized it's not really bad. But what I realized is I cannot repurpose that. And that's Happy Tuesday is not a hook. That's not hooking my audience in. Really, that's so like sweet and superficial. They're like, why am I pausing here? Right. So that was one of the 2 of the things I've never done. Let's wait till everybody gets on. But I have done the Happy Tuesday it's almost the 4th of July. Like I've dated my videos so bad that I couldn't repurpose them. And I think just knowing that you don't, I call video you can't do anything with is like throwing out leftovers, right? Like if we can find a way to reuse that video, we should, and without a ton of editing too. So if we can just, literally hop on your video, say, I want to tell you about that time I shot my husband. This really is a video that I did, but like that grabs people in, right? And it was a needle, people. I really didn't shoot him. But it was talking about getting over my fear of saying I couldn't do something, right? Like I told the doctor, I was like, I cannot give him a shot. Like I cannot do that. Like I can't. And just getting over that mindset of telling yourself you can't do something, right? I took that and made it a teaching thing. But the initial, let me tell you about that time I shot my husband. Do you not think I had good views on that video? I had amazing views on that video because everybody's like, what?
That's a hell of a hook.
Right. Exactly.
Yes. Right. So yeah, let's break down just real quickly how you would define a hook and the best type of hooks that work, because people may be realizing like, oh, don't wait for people to show up, go right to the hook. But now they're probably wondering what makes a good hook, right? So you want to just piece that apart a little bit for the watchers?
Yes. So I believe, number one, if we have 3 seconds to grab our audience's attention. So if we can bring in the word you somehow in some way, shape, or form, let me tell you how you can grow your business in 3 days. Let me tell you the secret, right? If we can use the word you, people are going to be like, oh my gosh, this is for me, right? Like it's because at the end of the day, again, we've talked about this already. This is not about me. This is about you, right? And people want to know what's in it for them, right? So if I can put the word you in the first 3 seconds of my video, I'm always going to grab their attention. Always, always, always. Something else that I didn't say a minute ago, not necessarily talking about a hook, but if I do a live video and I can keep it 3 to 5 minutes, my rewatch time is going to be so much higher, because if they see a 20-minute video, most entrepreneurs who I'm marketing to don't have 20 minutes to watch a video. But if they
nobody got time for that.
Right. If they can get the tip or the secret or whatever I'm saying in 5 minutes or less, they're going to be all about that. And so having that, I feel like, is also kind of a hook, because they're going to see that time is, but really adding that word you, using the words like the secret, the top tips, using a number. Again, all of those things are so important when you can use them in video to grab your audience's attention. That's great.
So, especially if you're feeling fear around video and you're like, I don't know what to say. Well, the great news is your audience wants you to keep it short and sweet. So that's going to make it easier. You can just get right to the point, say the thing, turn it off, and go wash off your sweaty hands, So I love that. Like the top tips for 3 ways or 5 ways to accomplish something, or the secret to something or other, or, the time I blank and how you can do it too, or, right. Just like things that grab some curiosity.
Absolutely.
A little bit.
Stop their scroll, be a pattern interrupt. Like those are the things. There's so much noise on social media. And I don't know if you've ever seen that. Have you ever seen the wheel that talks about the what happens in an internet minute? And it's like insane. It's like how many millions of people are logging onto Facebook, how many thousands of hours of YouTube in an internet minute. In an internet minute, like over $1 million is being spent. Like it just has you'll have to look it up. Yeah. But anyhow, we have so much noise that we're competing with. So you have 3 seconds, you have a shot to get seen, right? To have your content seen. And is it worth it to just come up and say, Happy Tuesday?
Right? Or like, sorry, I didn't do my hair. Like, right, people don't care.
Exactly. Right. Show up with a message, with an intention, and have it ready on your Post-it notes, whatever you need to do. But again, if you've never done video, just show up. You can do it all messy, but to really, when you start improving, when you start being on video more, you can start improving that and perfecting that. And that's what you do. And it'll never be perfect. Just going to throw that out there too. I've never done a perfect live video, never done a perfect interview. I'll tell you that. I always say, all those things, but you just have to start.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you have a heart to help someone else on the other side of the screen, they can tell, they know. Yes. And you're going to be okay. So I love all this actionable advice of how people can get started to be more visible, but also the potential of what can happen when they're brave enough and consistent enough to do it. So I understand you have a free gift that can help our viewers to get started on their visibility journey. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
I do. So my free gift is 2 mini courses and a daily checklist. So the first mini course that you get is how to be more consistent on social media. It's the number one thing that people tell me they struggle with. So we got to be consistent, right? And before we can expect results. So how to be consistent on social media is the first mini course. The second thing is a checklist. It's a daily checklist on a visibility checklist. So how you can get visible every single day. And some of the ways are not video, which people actually are shocked about. So you can grab that and download it and check it off every single day. And then the third thing is a mini course on how to, we call it explode your content and visibility. And that is by taking that video that you created and creating up to 100 pieces of content from one 10-minute value-packed video. It's amazing.
I love it. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So you guys, be sure to scoop up that free gift. If you're going to be on social media, you're never going to be successful if you're not visible. I mean, it's kind of a requirement.
It is. It is.
So regardless of what platform you're looking at, the great news, visibility applies to all of them. Video applies to all of them in one way or another. And this particular gift that Crissy has for us is going to help you to, level up your business on any platform you're using, which is what I love about the strategy. So thank you so much for that gift. It's such a generous gift.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
You've been listening to the Impactful Entrepreneurs Show with Adrienne Hill, where we support coaches, course creators, and network and affiliate marketers to translate their big picture vision into actionable plans to build out their business efficiently. If you love our show, we invite you to visit buildalifebydesign.com to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover more helpful resources. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, and share. Thank you for listening.